One of the most closely watched policies of the new Clinton administration will be Cuban policy. It's still an open question whether the new president will bring a thaw to our relations with this last vestige of communism, frozen for decades. Yet one group of conscientious objectors is not waiting for official permission to interact with Cuba. Pastors for Peace is a national organization based here in the Twin Cities, is already breaking the embargo to bring medical and other humanitarian aid to Cuba. Amy Marsalis reports.
Our adventure begins in Mexico, where we board a Cubana Airlines flight with Pastors for Peace. They carry $20,000 worth of medicine for the Cuban people. The group knows they could face severe penalties from the U.S. government for making the mission, but their commitment to this cause is greater than the fear of prosecution. Landing on Cuban soil is a feeling most Americans haven't experienced, at least not in some 30 years. A blockade of Cuba by the U.S. government has restricted trade and travel to the tiny island. So how does it feel and look and sound 34 years after the revolution? We have 5 days in Cuba to find out. The street scenes in the Cuban capital of Havana make you feel like you've stepped back in time. Vintage cars and bicycles share the lanes. In one neighborhood, a woman washes clothes outside in water heated by a fire. Standing in line for food is common, and when you get to the front of the line, eggs and fish are all you can buy at this market. But this woman didn't complain.
The situation has been much more difficult, and it was easier before the special period. But we have never gone to bed without eating. I have 2 little children home who have never been hungry.
Things we would consider basics, like soap and shampoo, are luxuries to the Cuban people. But most of the people we met would not openly criticize their government for the shortages.
I feel that we Cubans are on the right track. Despite of all the difficulties that we have, we feel committed to Fidel and to the revolution.
Fidel Castro calls a meeting with Pastors for Peace our first full night in Havana. Reporters are not invited. This is a photo opportunity alone at a government center in Havana. After the introductions, there's a closed-door meeting with the group. Castro asked them when they'll be back. The people won't openly criticize Castro for the difficulties, but they will blame the U.S. for cutting off the island from trade.
It doesn't allow us to live like normal human beings.
Signs of communism are everywhere. This billboard across the street from the former U.S. Embassy says, "Senor Imperialist, we are absolutely not afraid of you." The Cubans credit Fidel Castro and the revolution for their education system. We visited a special school in Havana for the severely retarded. The students put on a show. The Cubans are also proud of their healthcare system. At the largest hospital in Havana, heart and lung transplants are performed. But getting certain medical supplies is difficult because of the U.S. trade embargo.
We need to buy this.
We need to buy this
In Netherlands.
in Netherlands, in Holland.
In the United States, this catheter, the price is $20.
$20 in the
But
United
in
States.
Netherlands is 95.
The Cubans also face fuel shortages, so government-imposed blackouts to save energy are common. The Cubans have learned to get along without lights, whether it's during dinner or a church service. They find ways to entertain themselves and visitors, like this amateur dance troupe in one of the humblest neighborhoods in Havana. As we walked down a dark street one night, we found men playing dominoes. But doing without so much is wearing on some people who seem to have lost hope for the future.
Do you have hope that things will get better?
I don't know. Nobody knows it. You know.
We thank Amy Marsalis and Joe Berglove for joining us for this program. Why are we interested in Cuba? Why do we care? Why did you go there? Why?
Well, the blockade is more than 30 years old, the U.S. trade embargo of Cuba, and just a few months ago it was tightened further. The feeling is to further strangle the island economically, and Joe and I saw that when we were down there. Things are falling apart. It's hard for people to get so many supplies, so many basic things. So Pastors for Peace, their mission is to see the United States normalize relations with Cuba, and that's why they went, and we followed them to see what kind of reception they would get.
That's what I noticed watching the story. Physically, architecturally, a photographer could best answer this. The country, from what little you showed of, appears to be in disarray, such wretched conditions, or is that just a 3.5-minute view that we're getting?
Well, there are some real beautiful parts to Cuba, but I think there are two reasons why we're seeing that. First of all, it is a communist country, and there's not the capitalist advertising and the keeping up of things that you'll see in a capitalist country. And secondly, since the fall of communism, the last 2 years, they've basically been unable to get the things they need to keep the things up. Paint is in very short supply, and construction materials, very difficult to get.
Joe, protecting modesty, did not include in the story he took a picture of Fidel Castro while Joe, was shaking hands with him. Look right there. Did you get any, that's a nice trick. Did you get any sense of him in just that brief moment there about his health, about his physical being?
Well, I tell you, Dave, when I sat in the room in Revolution Square where his office is, I was never more nervous in my life.
No.
But when he walked into the room, he was very captivating. Just drew everyone in that was around him, and you could tell he was a very captivating person.
You pointed out, Amy, that the citizens were not excited about talking to you about the conditions there. One man did speak out. Is it like we've come to understand in so many autocratic rules that is there a penalty or punishment for speaking against the government?
Well, a couple of people that would talk to me in their apartment off camera were literally petrified to talk to me on camera and tell me how bad it is. They said friends of theirs have gone to jail. So I think there is a great fear, and there are penalties for people speaking against the government.
What do you think? Are they hungry? Is there a great disparity between the rich and the poor? Is there any middle ground at all? No?
It doesn't appear to be. At least Amy and I didn't see that. In fact, hunger really isn't a problem down there. Getting the food that they want to eat, like beef or pork, is almost impossible, but there's not too many people going hungry in Cuba, I don't believe.
There's just not a lot of food. They're getting the basics. But several people I met had lost 50 pounds in the past year.
Oh, my heavens. Were you well received? Were you generally accepted
I think
by the people there?
Yeah, I think so. People would talk to us again, though, to give us a more positive picture and showing us the good things they're doing in Cuba and their ingenuity, how they've developed a certain fuel called biogas out of sugarcane waste. They were very proud to show us the things they've developed in the face of such severe shortages.
We've had such a wonderful romantic history in our relationship with Cuba. Let's hope that it returns. Thank you both for being with us. Good piece of journalism. 85,000 people of Asian Pacific descent in Minnesota, yet we seem to know so little about them. In a moment, we'll try, in a very small way, to help correct that.